Well, 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 hello! Thank you for joining me once again. This is going to be Game 3 between Grubby and Nerchio. Now, I know I talked a little bit about the backgrounds of these players, but man, I just want to say I'm very excited to see Grubby actually playing this game. If you guys haven't seen, even if you don't ever play Warcraft 3 or never played it, I'd recommend just going and checking out Grubby's games. He just plays so well, so inventively. The mechanics of Warcraft 3 are a little bit different, but he brings his own unique style to it, and he's got a lot of fans out there. And I know that people are going to be watching him play Starcraft 2. He's going to have instantly a lot of fans, and I hope that he does really well into the future. Meanwhile, Nerchio, he's a young, up-and-coming player, I guess you could say. Both of these are kind of up-and-coming in the Starcraft world. So I think that we'll be seeing these two guys a lot more going into the future, and I hope you guys are as excited about seeing them both play as I am. Now, in that last game, we saw Grubby showing off some really good micromanagement skills, and man, he had a tough game. I think what was his undoing was Nerchio getting that Spire down at such a great time and getting a bunch of Corruptors. And those Corruptors really allowed him to they really allowed him to just take out his Colossi, and there's not much Grubby can really do about it. He tried to get his Stalkers working on taking down the Corruptors, and when you do that, those roaches are kind of free to take out your Stalkers, so it becomes almost like a rocks, paper, scissors effect, and it can be very difficult to deal with as the Zerg. Now, again, we see Grubby going for this Forge Fast Expand build. He seems to like doing that, and Nerchio's going to be spotting this right away, so he's going to know what's going on, and looks like he's going to be trying to maybe block, or he's actually going to be going for a hatchery here. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or what he was thinking, if he was just kind of trying to block. Now, this is really strange, actually. And we see a Zerg player actually trying to block a Nexus, and he's actually able to get an evolution chamber built by using the remaining creep from that hatchery. That's not something I knew you could do. So very interesting so far. And well, Grubby is also going to be blocking the hatchery, so both these players trying to block the fast expansion. Nerchio is going to have a number of lings out on the field though, so that's going to allow him to get that hatchery down pretty easily. And this evolution chamber is going to die eventually, no matter what. So it'll be interesting to see what. I mean, Grubby can't really do anything about this at the moment. He can't throw down his Nexus unless he wants to put it in some weird place. He could try to take this base, but that's really not what he wants to do. It will open him up to getting attacked through this corridor. Now he's got a bunch of lings knocking at the front door, but that photon cannon will finish in time. So, this is unexpected. I wasn't expecting to see something like that. I didn't even know you could do that. But apparently you can use the creep from a cancelled hatchery to build an Evo chamber. So take note out there, all you Zerg players who are tired of getting your expansions blocked by Protoss, and now you can turn the tables on them. This Zealot is going to be hacking and slashing, and by the time he's finished destroying that Evo chamber, he is going to be covered in blood. And it's not going to be too pretty. So Nerchio moving his queen down here in advance of this hatchery getting built. I'm sure he's got a second one on the way here. Now we do see Grubby going for a Stargate at this point, and I do like that decision. This is a good map for it. It's also a good spawn location for it. Now, Nerchio is going to be trying to work on these destructible debris. Of course, if he gets those down, he can simply bypass Grubby's wall. And I'm pretty sure Grubby doesn't want to have that happening anytime soon. You see Nerchio going for a third base at this point. Now, considering these spawn locations, I gotta say that the map placement does kind of favor Grubby just a little bit, because he'll be expanding towards Nerchio, and I don't know if Grubby likes to use any special tactics, but if he decides to go for a War Prison play here, it could be pretty effective. He's got a nice little drop-off area that he can use here to harass this mineral line of Nerchio. So It'll be interesting to see if he decides to do something like that. We do have an Overlord here to spot this. Nerchio continuing to produce just a few Zerglings to try and poke and prod at the front door. Maybe trying to take these rocks down if possible. He's just being pretty smart. We do have a single lone Phoenix coming in here. He's not going to be able to do anything really, but he is going to be able to get a full scout off on Nerchio's base. This is a real Phoenix. It is not hallucinated, so he doesn't want it to get killed. Now he's going to be flying it over here. This is going to signal to Nerchio that there's a Stargate on the ground somewhere. Now we see a Robo Bay coming down from Grubby, and we're seeing this a lot from Protoss players where they're going these unit mixes. They're not just getting Robo, they're not just getting Stargate, they're getting maybe some Void Rays and some Immortals and some Templar, and while that's a kind of a good strategy and the unit mix can really work against the Zerg. Nice block here by Grubby, not letting the Zerglings into his base. It does delay your build a lot, and wow, some more good micro by Grubby using force fields here to try and keep these Zerglings out. But getting all those tech structures as Protoss costs a big investment. I mean, getting a Robo Bay and now these Zerglings have gotten into the main base, and it's going to be probes versus Zerglings. Not a good situation for Grubby. And the Zerglings continuing to wander around in the main base and trying to snipe this pylon. It is a bit Artosis, and trying to unpower the gateway. Nothing to be produced out of there, though. Grubby dealing with these Zerglings. These Zerglings are being very, very pesky right now, and they're all at low health, but still just having free reign inside Grubby's base and taking out Zerglings left and right. Taking out probes, rather. Now, meanwhile, back at home, we see the layer tech coming down for Nerchio. We see these two Phoenix chilling outside, not doing anything. Let's check the income tab. We do see our Zerg player has a very large harvester lead at this point, and no surprises there. It's 3 base to 2. So, looking to be in a pretty good spot. Nerchio, Grubby's on his back feet. Just having a tough time dealing with all these pesky Zerglings knocking on the front door. And I do like that play by Nerchio. He's not overcommitting. He's not doing nothing but producing Zerglings, but he is sending in small little groups of Lings just to annoy his opponent. And it seems to be working. It seems to be delaying his builds. It seems to be putting him on the back foot, making him do stuff he might normally not want to or not be comfortable doing. Great force field right there. These Zerglings are going to get caught. And Grubby again showing he does have some pretty good micro. Looks like Nerchio is going to be going for a 4th base at this point, and he may be overextending himself a little bit. He does have a huge lead, but I'm not sure that he really realizes exactly what the situation is. He's seen Phoenixes. He has not seen the Robo Bay, but this Overseer is now coming in for a scout. So it seems like Nerchio trying to keep the pressure on, but he may not really have an idea what Grubby is up to. And we do see +1 attacks and Thermal Lance on the way, as well as another Phoenix and Colossi. So all of these tech buildings do seem to now be starting to pay off for Grubby. Although he is still behind in terms of harvesters, and he is still behind in terms of supply. So he does have a pretty tough battle ahead of him. Nerchio now working on getting this 4th base saturated, and some Zerglings waiting outside to come in and maybe do some damage here. We do see a Colossi on the field, so it's going to make it tough for the Zerglings to do any damage, but this doorway seems to be open right now, and that looks like Grubby's going to think about taking 3rd base here. Possibly, maybe he's just moving out for an attack. 2 Colossi, the 2 Colossi 13-minute push. Of course. Now, it looks like Nerchio's Lings are looking for extra bases. He doesn't really seem to know what he's doing now. Yeah, it looks like Grubby's going to be going for a big attack here. We're picking a pylon here so we can try and get some reinforcements out. Going to start working on some of this creep now. Nerchio's been caught at a very weird moment. His Zerglings are all over the map, not in kind of a good spot to defend this, and he's just now starting to get flyers, so he's heavily invested into these mutas. Oh wow, he does have a lot of mutas actually at this point. So we're going to see a pretty big battle coming up right now, and good force fields. Actually, Grubby force fielding Nerchio out of his own base, warping in several stalkers. I'm not sure what Grubby's going to do about all of these mutas. That is a lot of mutas, and they can do a ton of damage. We're going to get to see some good Phoenix micro here to take them out. And it looks like Grubby is going to do just that, try and micro all of these units down. Meanwhile, his ground force is going to come and start working on the main base. And it looks like some of these hatcheries might go down now. This Muta Ling build is going to start coming into the main base here, and these Phoenixes are going to start microing them. And usually Phoenixes versus Mutas, the Phoenix will win. So actually Nerchio going to back off, and we're going to see a very big battle here. Great force fields again by Grubby. You can always rely on him to do these great force fields, and the Colossi are just going to start pounding away at all of these Zerg units. But that is a ton of drones and a ton of roaches, and I don't know if just 2 Colossi are going to be enough here. Phoenix coming in, picking up the rest of the mutas. A bunch of Stalkers getting warped in, and it looks like Grubby has gotten himself into a really good position to deal with this. He's lifting off some of the roaches and some of the queens to try and just take them out of the battle. And it looks like Grubby is going to be able to keep forcing his way in. We do see a number of roaches here. All these overlords getting caught in a big group, and Nerchio having himself a little bit of a laugh. He can't be too pleased with the results of this. He got just caught at a very strange moment, and is now coming in as in a last-ditch effort to try and take out Grubby's attack force. Will it be enough here? Doesn't look like it. So Roach is now just getting picked off by Phoenixes. More Zealots coming in to reinforce. Nerchio saying "Grats" and making a face. So it looks like Grubby took a win here, takes the W. Some weird missteps by Nerchio. Actually, it looked like he was in such a great spot at the beginning when he was just poking and prodding at Grubby's main base and just putting the pressure on, and somehow Grubby was able to reverse the momentum of the game and take the win in this one. So glad to see that Grubby's not getting rolled over here, and that's going to bring this series to a game 4. So we're going to see what happens next. See you guys in the next video.